Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Surbi. I'm associated with Upgrad Abroad, and truly we are really excited to have all of you here. This basically is going to be an opportunity for all of us to understand certain concepts and misconceptions. Let us have an understanding in detail about them from each other. And I would want to introduce Mrs. Sunita Kadian. She is the co-founder and as well as the academic head from Yuno Learning. So if we can hear from you, Sunita, about yourself, about what Yuno Learning is.
Hello, everyone. So as Surbi just said, I'm the academic head at Yuno Learning. And at Yuno Learning, we provide coaching, not just for IELTS, but also for English speaking. The students come to us with different levels of English, but they all excel. And that's what motivates us to keep on going. We got 600 plus 5-star Google reviews. So the students are happy.
Sounds really good. Yes, I believe that Yuno Learning is helping the students tremendously in terms of not just being prepared for the IELTS examination, but overall in terms of language, English as a language, how they can speak, how they can attain fluency in it. So Yuno Learning is continuously helping the students, even if they want to stay in India, I believe, or if they are majorly planning to write the IELTS examination.
Yes.
So this brings us to the topic of discussion today. And we are going to be talking about how you can actually crack those IELTS bands, how you can get that 8 bands on your IELTS scorecard. And we have the expert with us here. So we will take the questions, the Q&A questions towards the end as well. However, just for people who are just new to this concept of overseas education, they would have heard about this examination called IELTS. And they're not much aware about it. How does the different section works? What is the meaning of this bands? What do we mean about this overall score, each band score? How do we fit into this university's criteria and all of that, right? So let us just start with the basics ones. Let us try and understand. If Sunita, if you could explain us, what exactly IELTS is all about and why is it required?
Sure, I'll just share my PowerPoint also and take you all through the basics. But yes, in between also, if you have any questions, you are most welcome to ask me.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'll share some tips and tricks to help you all crack your way into 8 band score on IELTS in 6 weeks. How can we do that? How can we achieve that? So let's understand some basics. See, what is IELTS? It's the International English Language Testing System. So it tests your English. Please remember, it does not test your knowledge, it tests your English. Because many test takers are scared of the topics. They feel they'll not know much about those topics. But even if you know something in general about the different topics on which you can get questions in the IELTS writing, is good enough as long as your English is good. Same goes for reading also. Your English should be good. So you should be in the habit of reading English journals, listen to some podcasts every day, and you'll be good enough to go ahead and prepare for the IELTS exam. So how is it different from the other tests? So there are other tests also going on these days. We've got PTE, which is the Pearson Test of English. We've got Duolingo, and we also have TOEFL. Now, when we talk about the IELTS exam, it's quite simple, not at all complicated. And the band scores, everybody worries about the band score. How much band score should I get if I have to go abroad to study? So to study abroad, a good band score that is needed is 6. But yes, if you get a band score of 7, you can get admission in your dream university. So, and 7.5 or 8, 8.5, many of our students get 8, 8.5, and they get admission wherever they want. So that's the advantage of it. So why not aim for the higher one? Now let's understand how it is in the others also. Like IELTS, if it's 6, TOEFL, the 60 score is needed, PT 51 to 58, and Duolingo 101 to 115. This is the way the score is needed in different exams. Highest in IELTS is band score 9. Many students easily get a band score 9 in IELTS reading and IELTS listening, and even you can get it. If you just practice the way you need to practice and follow certain strategies, that's what is needed. And writing and speaking also, you can get a very good band score. There are many students who get 8, 8.5. It's a bit difficult, but yes, you can get it. And how can you get that? Only if you practice regularly. Somebody raised the hand in between. Do you have any question before I continue?
Yes, Sunita, we can continue so far.
All right.
Ratan has a raised hand. Could you put your question in the Q&A box, Ratan?
Any questions that you may have?
All right. So, guys, you can put your questions in the Q&A box itself, and we will take all your queries. So for now, we can continue with what Sunita is trying to explain us.
Perfect. Let's continue. So what is tested in the IELTS exam? There are 4 modules. That is 4 skills of the language are tested. Listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So you have separate tests for each. Listening, reading, writing tests are taken together. And speaking test may happen on the same day also, or maybe 1 or 2 days earlier or afterwards. For how much duration do you have each test? So listening test lasts for 30 minutes. It has 4 parts, 40 questions in all. What type of questions? Notes completion, then map questions, like you have to make out, yes, which place is where when you listen to the recording. So each, you have 4 audios. Based on each audio, you have 10 questions. So there are 2 conversations and 2 monologues. So you should just understand how to listen to the keywords and understand the paraphrase of certain things, because it's not that you have exactly the same words that are given in the questions and you listen to exactly the same words. No, you may hear a paraphrase. So you should be able to understand the questions. You should be able to understand what the speaker is saying, multiple choice questions, what exactly the answer. So there's a strategy for it, how to eliminate the wrong options. And that's what we practice in classes. So there's one question that has come up. Let me see. How can I improve reading faster? Okay, I'm just coming to that, Nikunj. So reading test has 3 sections. And the reading test also has 40 questions in all. Academic passages. So there are academic passages. The length is about 900 words. How can you improve? You should be in the habit of reading. Even if you do not like reading, start reading journals every day. Some topics on science, technology, environment, different types of topics. Just read articles every day. You will become familiar with the terminology used in each. Your vocabulary will improve and your comprehension will also improve. So start reading. There are many reading practice tests on the short practice tests are there on Yuno learning site. You can visit that also. So read regularly. That's what is needed. Understand the types of questions you can get in the exam. So there are about 14 types of questions, out of which you can get any 5 or 6. They can be paragraph information matching questions, paragraph heading matching questions, true and false, not given, yes, no, not given, notes completion, table completion, short answer questions, sentence ending matching questions. So this way, you've got different types of questions. You should understand the strategy to answer each type. Each question carries 1 mark. in listening and reading both. Each question carries 1 mark and there is no negative marking.
So, Sunita, before we move on to the writing thing, I think Palvinder Kaur has just posted a question. Again, they say that reading is actually tough for them, which definitely could be for a lot of people. So they
Yes.
are seeking some guidance in terms to, though it's really tough for them as they claim it, but how can they actually improve it? What would be your suggestion on
So
a
when you
day-to-day
read
practice?
something, when you read these passages, there are certain skills you need to acquire and enhance. What are those skills? First is when you read something, you should be able to skim through it. See, it's not the exam of your knowledge. So you don't have to be familiar with each and everything that's given in the passage. Just skim through. So skimming is also a skill. How you skim through and understand what is given where. Like when you read a newspaper, you do not start reading each and every piece of news in detail right from the beginning. First, you skim through the newspaper to understand what is given where. So you look at the headlines, right? So similarly, when you read something, different paragraphs are there. Just read the first sentence, that's the topic sentence. Look at the words, how certain describing words are used. Understand in 1 or 2 words in your mind what each paragraph is about. This is one habit you need to inculcate slowly. Anything that you read, you should get in your mind, okay, this is what this paragraph talks about. This is what this paragraph talks about. So understand how skimming is done. Then when you read the questions, because questions do not have exactly the same words, you should be able to understand the paraphrase. There's a synonym used in the question of the words that you read in the passage. So you should be able to paraphrase those words, understand the key words given in the questions. So if you understand the question, you know that yes, what the answer can be. But if you do not understand the question and the question type, because there is a different strategy needed for answering different types of questions. Like for instance, true, false, and not given questions. They're based on facts. Those facts are present in a similar way as given in the question, or not present in a similar way. They're not, if something contradictory is present, then obviously it is false. If it's in a similar way, probably the paraphrase has been used, then it's true. And if those facts are not given only. For example, if I ask you questions about Surbhi, like Surbhi, you can see over here. Now, there is nothing like we cannot see the color of her trousers. And if I mention that she's wearing black trousers, so it cannot be true or false. It's not given. So this is what we need to understand in the reading passages also. So we have to just apply different tricks to answer different types of questions, like paragraph information matching question, how we can understand that. Notes taking, you've been taking notes, you've been attempting this type of questions right from your school days, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, you've been attempting this kind of questions. So it should not be difficult for you. So one is skimming. Then you should be able to understand the keywords in the questions. You should be able to understand the paraphrase and scanning. What is scanning? Like you scan for details. Scanning is done for details. So once you've done the skimming, you read the question then. Many make a mistake of reading the questions first and then going on to the passage. Wastage of time. You do not even know where that information is, and you'll be busy reading all the passages in detail. Now, skim through the passages, go to the questions, understand the keywords, and according to the question or the requirement of the question, go to the passage, whichever paragraph you feel that information is, 1 or 2 paragraphs, or maybe you feel in 2 paragraphs that information is there, scan those paragraphs and get your answer. So you look for the details, you read for details only when you look for the answers. Then in listening and reading, many students lose their marks because of spellings or punctuation. So start practicing your spellings. Spelling should be correct. In reading, of course, you have the spellings in the passage. Don't be in a hurry. Just understand the spellings. In the computer-based test, you can just drag most of the words. Few you have to type. You need to be careful about the punctuation also. Punctuation, like if it's a summary completion question and the word has to start with a small letter, that is small, lower case, but you start it with a capital letter, the uppercase, obviously you're going to get 0 in that. So you may think that your answer is correct, but if the spelling is wrong or the punctuation is wrong, you will not get any mark for it. So these are the things you need to practice. Another is get into the habit of writing with the pencil so that you can erase and rewrite something correctly, because both are accepted. Whether you write your answers with a pen or a pencil, both are accepted. So why not write with a good pencil? Get into that habit and you'll have neat answers. You'll get correct answers. More of the answers will be correct. Why? Because you'll be able to correct them. You'll be able to check their spellings and punctuation. So reading and listening, if you're careful about few things, reading, if you ensure that you acquire these skills, enhance them, you will be able to get band score 9 very easily. Manage your time. So there are 3 passages and you get 60 minutes to attempt these 40 questions. Divide your time. Do not take more than 20 minutes for any passage. In fact, the first passage, you should try to finish within 15 minutes. That's the way you should try to answer. So that means after skimming through the passage, when you start answering the questions, do not take more than 1 minute to answer any question. 1 minute, read the question, scan for information and answer the question. If you feel you are taking more than a minute to answer any question, you can always come back to it later on. Do not spend more time on it. It's not worth it. And do not be scared because there is no negative marking. So do not leave any questions. Do we have any other question on reading? So reading is not tough. If you practice regularly, acquire the right strategy for answering the questions and work on your skills that are needed.
So absolutely, Sunita, whatever you said, we couldn't agree more. And these are some valuable insights. If we keep on practicing on a daily basis, take a shorter paragraph for practice. Do not burden yourself, I'd say. It will come eventually. With a lot of
Definitely.
practice, once you have that confidence in you. Great
Absolutely.
insight on the listening and reading test. And we do not so far have any question right now on reading and listening. So I think
let's
move ahead to the writing test. Yeah.
Right. So in the writing test, you get 2 tasks. Task 1, you get some charts. So it can be a pie chart, a bar chart, a graph, a map, a diagram of a place, like how it was earlier, how it is now, how it can be in the future. So all that you need to do is summarize the information given to you in that visual input. Like you have to write at least 150 words. So at least 150 words means you should write roughly between 170 and 190 words. You don't have to give your own opinion about anything over here. Just understand that visual input, that map, the diagram, the chart given to you. There are just 4 or 5 paragraphs, just 4 paragraphs if you work on. First paragraph, you just paraphrase whatever is given to you in the question, that this bar chart is about this. These are the things shown in it. Second paragraph, you give an overview of it, that on the whole, this chart depicts. So whatever it depicts, talk about the maximum and the minimum, the most and the least. Just talk about that in about 2 to 3 sentences. First and second paragraph, always use present simple tense only. Many students lose marks because of grammar also. I'll just share the criteria for writing and speaking with you. So just use the present simple tense. And then in the third and the fourth paragraphs, give the details. Just compare the data. Compare and contrast the data given to you in the chart or the diagram or the map. Just compare it. So when you compare, choose which one you would compare, which is of more value. Compare that in the third paragraph. And then in the fourth paragraph, whatever is left. So this is the skill that you need to acquire, how you should compare things, how you should use the correct tense, like the past, present, and future. So you need practice for it, regular practice. You should get your writing task evaluated. Unfortunately, many students lose their marks in writing because they do not practice regularly. They think they'll be able to get a good score, but then they need to practice different types of answers and get them evaluated. Like in writing task 2, there are different types of essays. You can get an advantage, disadvantage essay, the opinion essay, or the solution essay, or the discussion essay, or the direct questions essay. So how you have the body paragraphs for each type of essay, how you paraphrase the question statement in the first paragraph, how you have the concluding paragraph, you need to practice these things. So if you practice 2 essays also, like each type, if you practice 2 of each, I think you should be ready for your exam. So remember, you should write your essays and get them evaluated. That's what will make you exam ready. How we have the band scores, I'll just share that with you. Speaking test. Do not be scared of the speaking test, thinking it's going to be an interview. Many people refer to it as an interview. Interview is much deeper. This is an informal conversation you have with the examiner. Just the way you may have the conversation with your instructor or with anybody else. Maybe you go somewhere and someone is sitting there at the reception. You have a conversation with that person. It's just a conversation. Remember, it's a conversation. Take it that way only. So it's a conversation. Initially, when you are even asked to introduce yourself, that's not the introduction of an interview. You just give your full name and what you do and where you are from. And then you can just mention how the examiner can address you. So just give your first name over there. So introduction, give your full name, and then how the examiner can address you, where you are from, and what you do. Just this much. And then there are 3 parts in it. Part 1, you are asked some general questions about yourself. So they can be about your childhood, about your school days, about your likes and dislikes, about your friends, family, where you live, about your city. So this kind of simple questions are there. Most of the questions have answers in yes or no. Now, this is a mistake which many students make. They may just say yes and just give 1 sentence no. So here the strategy is what? Paraphrase the questions. If somebody says, do you like eating ice creams? So don't say that, yes, I like eating ice creams. How should it be? Well, yes, I do. I'm fond of ice creams. In fact, I have loved ice creams since my childhood. So show us range of your grammar structures also. So when I said, oh, I have loved eating ice cream since my childhood, I used a different tense. Present perfect. I paraphrased the question. I did not use the same word like. So this is what you need to understand. Answer the questions in 2 to 3 sentences. Then in part 2, you get some cues. You get 1 minute to think and then 1 to 2 minutes to answer. So do not worry about time. Cover all the points, all the cues that have been given to you. For instance, if you get this kind of question, talk about your best holiday, and then the cues are when it was, where you went, with whom you went, and why would you recommend this place to others. Cover all the points when you talk about it. So you can always practice like 2 to 3 sentences answering each, and then keep on elaborating. The examiner will stop you whenever the time is over. You don't have to worry about it.
So this is going to be all about creating that conversation with the
Yes.
examiner, have a conversation with them.
So
And
part 2 is a monologue. Part 2 is a monologue.
monologue.
The examiner does not interrupt you in between. It's only when the time is over, then a follow-up question comes. And after that, part 3 starts. So part 3 questions are connected to part 2. They're more general, more abstract questions. Here you give lengthier answers, compare things. That's what is needed. The examiner may stop you in between in part 3 and cross-question you. That's just normal. That's what we do at times, even when we have a conversation also, right?
Yes.
So that's what is needed over here.
And how long is the duration of the speaking test overall?
Speaking tests, see, you get a slot of 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
And the test, yes, the test lasts just for about 11 to 15 minutes.
Understood.
So you don't have to worry about time.
Anything else that they're going to need to carry with themselves while they're going for the speaking test?
No, you need to carry your passport.
Passport, right?
Carry your passport, carry some good erasers, good pencils. Like for speaking test, of course, you'll get everything there. You get the pencil also there. You don't have to carry all that, but your passport should be there with you.
Perfect. And when is the speaking test usually? People have some doubt that they do take it later after some days when they have completed all the 3 sections. Then generally they have the speaking test. So let's say if they've given the writing test today, when can be the next speaking test for them?
It depends what date you get. Okay. Sometimes you're just given. Sometimes like you get an option also, whichever you select. Sometimes you just get it from there. And it can be on the same day also, with some gap in between. It can happen on the same day also. It can be 1 or 2 days prior to the other 3. It can be 1 or 2 days after the other 3.
Is it going to be on the same center, or they can change the center for the speaking test?
No, it's at the same place.
Same place. All right.
Yes.
So, yes, Sunita, I think you have covered a lot about the speaking test. I was just going through the questions that we have in this. So, Harshita is asking how to solve the maps. Now, she's going back to the listening section here.
The writing test, the writing one. How to solve, okay, the listening one, how to solve the maps.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in writing also, writing task 1 also, you get the maps. So in listening, map labeling questions, right? Maps, you always start from a place. That's what it is. The examiner takes you from a place. For example, if your starting point is this, the examiner says that you go straight, you turn left, just follow the words, take the second right, right? So maybe there may be the first right, there may be the second right, take the second right. So this way, just follow whatever the speaker says in that, and then accordingly selected on the map. So whatever the place is, suppose there is a garden over here, right? So there's a garden over here, and in the question, so garden is mapped. So A, B, C, D. What is this A? What is this A then? What is this A? You'll have to tell that. What is that A? What is B? What is C? What is D? So if you follow the speaker without deviating your attention, right? Unfortunately, that happens with many students because there are so many sitting. If you take the pen and paper test, there's so many sitting in that hall. They can maybe more than 100 also. And what somebody sitting on the right side is doing, somebody sitting on the left side is doing, don't get distracted. Just focus on it because there's a speaker. You may get the earphones, you may not get. Focus on whatever you can hear over there. Just focus on that. Do not get distracted by what the others are doing around you. If you miss 1 or 2 words, you will miss the answer. And of course, in maps, it happens. Then In the computer-based test, of course, you get your earphones, you're the only one, but there also you need to focus because there can be some type of disturbance even over there. So don't lose your focus, please. That's the best way. Get into the habit of listening. So listen to podcasts. That helps a lot. Map questions you practice. Take some practice tests. There's so many free practice tests available. So take those and practice. The more you practice, the better you're going to be. Is there any other questions, Surabhi?
Not on this part, basically, how to pick the correct option in reading section if every option seems right or correlated.
But still, there will be one word which will be different in each option. Understand that. Does somebody explain? Does somebody question? Right? Does somebody just add some points? I've used different words. So this is what we have to understand, how to eliminate the wrong options when you get those multiple choice questions. So practice is needed over there.
Another question, when should we give the exam? Do we need to give it before or after applying to the university? So what have you observed, Sunita? When do the students actually start this preparation?
See, you should have the date. When is it that you are supposed to apply, right? When is the course beginning over there? Accordingly, by when are you supposed to submit your score? That is the date you need to see. By when are you supposed to submit your score? Unfortunately, many students wait till the last month. They think that, yes, just a month before they are supposed to start the course, they should give their score. No, what you need to find out is, when are you supposed to submit your score? Because it's after that only many other formalities can be taken care of. So this is what you need to find out. When are you supposed to submit the scores? So whenever you are supposed to submit the scores, start preparing 2 months before that, 3 months before that. That's what you need to do.
All right. So I hope you got your answer. There's just one last question. If that's okay, we can move on to the next concept. So somebody has mentioned Vishal. He's just trying to ask us, as per the recent 2023 update on IELTS, do we have the option to rewrite the IELTS for one component if the first score were below the target?
Well, not only the students, even we were very excited about it when the news came, right? Because we thought that, oh, nothing like it. But unfortunately, it has not started in India yet. We are also waiting for that date. It has been implemented in Australia, but not in India yet.
So Vishal, unfortunately, this concept is not yet, I can say active in India. Let's just hope.
Not
now.
Very soon it will be. Very soon it will be. Right.
All right. Thank you, Sunita, for clearing that, doubt or a misconception which the learner had. Yeah.
Okay. So yes. So how can you get score of 8 in 6 weeks? This is what many ask, and many aim for that, because you get a score of 8 and you get admission anywhere. So in 6 weeks, to get it in 6 weeks, you should have an intermediate level of English when you start your preparation. If it is not the intermediate level, so get your diagnostic test done. If you feel it's not intermediate level, then go for an intensive preparation, right? You may have to improve your basics before doing that preparation. So you should have an intermediate level of English for that 6-week preparation. You should understand the skills for all 4 modules. What are the skills needed? So you should, I just shared some with you. So you should understand the skills. You should understand how to answer different types of questions. I shared a few things with you. So all the tips and tricks, you should understand the strategy to answer different types of questions. You should understand. You should have good time management. So remember, when your exam begins, if you wish to go to the washroom also in between, that you do not get any extra time for that. So you should know how to manage your time. Reading, many students are not able to reach passage 3 just because of this time mismanagement. They spend a lot of time answering questions of passage 1 and 2, and they're not able to answer questions of passage 3. In writing also, unfortunately, many students take a lot of time answering task 1 question. That's why you're advised to spend 20 minutes on task 1 and 40 minutes on task 2. So you should not spend 30 minutes on task 1. So that's where your practice comes in handy. You should practice regularly. So time management is important. And always reach the test center about 30 minutes earlier. 30 minutes before you're supposed to arrive there. 30 minutes before that. I'm not saying 30 minutes before the exam has to begin. 30 minutes before you're supposed to arrive there. So if you're told that you should arrive by 2:30, be there by 2 o'clock so that you are rested and relaxed before that. Attend your classes regularly. This is needed. Many students enroll for the course, but they do not attend the classes regularly. They're regular for 1 week. After that, they think, oh, it's going to be easy for them. No, please attend the classes regularly. In different classes, different skills are discussed. Different types of questions are discussed. So you should attend the classes regularly. Do your homework regularly. Practice all types of questions regularly. So this is, again, a myth. That is, you just listen to somebody speaking and you are good at it, right? And you'll be able to answer the questions. No, you need to do that yourself. So in the writing task, practice all, get your answers evaluated. That's what will get you a good score. So you should practice the assignments regularly and get them evaluated. Mock tests. So prepare, take the classes for 5 weeks. 6th week, take mock tests. Do not postpone your mock tests. In the 6th week itself, you should take your 2 or 3 mock tests, because whatever your performance is in the mock test will be almost similar to what you're going to get in the exam also, the actual IELTS exam. So take your mock tests, you get your mock tests analyzed, all your answers analyzed by your instructors, and then immediately after that, you should take the actual IELTS exam. You are exam ready then. Do not post your IELTS exam. Oh, okay, now I'm ready and I'll take it after 6 months or next year. Please do not do that. You're exam ready at that moment. That's the time you are, you're all set to take the exam. Like, it's all get set and go. So you are ready to go ahead with it. So that's the time you should take the exam. Do not postpone it further. So let's understand how the band score is, right? So band score in listening, because many students worry, oh, if I get so many correct, then what will be my band score? Out of 40 questions, if the answers of 20 to 22 are correct, you get a band score of 5.5 in listening. 30 to 32 correct, you get a band score of 7 in listening. So to get a band score 7.5, 33 to 34 answers should be correct. And to get a band score of 8.5, 38 to 39. So what should you aim? All answers correct. For that, you need to practice. That's what is needed. Understand the strategy for answering each type of question, because there are conversations and there are monologues. So start listening to podcasts daily. Yes. In reading, this is how it is. You get all answers correct, you get a band score 9. Or even with 39 also, you get a band score 9. 37 to 38, 8.5. 35 to 36. That means even if you get 4 answers wrong, you can easily manage to get band score 8. And that's how it goes. 33 to 34, 7.5, 30 to 32, 7, 27 to 29, 6.5. At least 6 band score should be there for this 23 to 26. So what should be your target? 9. Every week we have many students getting band score 9 in reading and listening, and it is not tough. Writing is tough if you do not practice regularly. It is not tough if you practice regularly, because you understand your mistakes. You get doubt clearing sessions also. So you understand your mistakes, clear all your doubts, and you will be exam ready and you'll get a good band score. So what are the criteria for writing task 1 and 2? No. One is task. In task 1, it is task achievement. So what is task achievement? Whatever map or diagram or the chart is given to you, do you understand it correctly? Whatever things you have to compare, do you understand that data correctly? And then, so 25% for this. Coherence and cohesion, also 25% then. How you move from one point to another, how you connect your points using moreover, however, although, on the contrary, you use that kind of language. Lexical resource is your vocabulary. You know, what kind of vocabulary you use. Do you use correct synonyms also? Like, for example, if there's a rise in something, it spikes, it moves up, you know, how you use certain words. Then grammatical range and accuracy. As I told you, you may have to compare the data of the past with present, or maybe past also, something that was there in 1950, then something that was there in the year 2000. So by year 2000, things had changed, you know, how they had changed, how they were in 1950, how they were in 2000, and by 2000, what all things had changed. See, so past perfect is to be used, past simple is to be used, then how they are now, if the present year is also given, how the things have changed in the past 23 years. So you have to use different tenses accordingly. In task 2 is your task response, because you get this instruction that what are the advantages and disadvantages. Now this is a different instruction. Do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? This is a different instruction. So your task response should be correct. When you're asked to tell that according to you, the advantages are more or the disadvantages, your essay should cover that. But when you're just asked, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Your response should be only this. You have to just talk about what the advantages are, and then the flip side of it, what the disadvantages are. You don't have to give your opinion. So your task response should be correct. Then again, here also coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy. You should understand the difference between simple, compound, and complex sentences, right? Complex sentences, how you structure those using if, although, because, even if. So you need to practice them correctly. So 25% for each. So you get a band score separately in each. Like you may get a band score of 8 over here. Again, maybe you get 7 here. Maybe you get 6 here, right? Out of 9, you again get 7 over here. So then all these are totaled. So 8, 7, 15, and 6, 21, and 7, 28. So then this 28 figure is divided by 4. So you get an overall band score of 7 in this. Similarly, you get in task 1 also. Suppose you get a band score of 6 over here, let's say. Overall, similarly, like you get for each criterion, and you get a band score of 6. So then how is it calculated? It's 6 plus 7 plus 7. This is how you get the overall band score in writing. And then you get, so 7, 7, 14, and 6, 20. So this 20 is divided by 3. So, but it will be on the higher side after 6.5. So your overall band score will also be 7. This is how the band score is calculated. So remember, you can get a high band score if you practice regularly. That's what is needed. And criteria for speaking, what are the criteria for speaking? Coherence and fluency. Coherence, like you should not move from one point to another without having any connection. Whatever you say, your point should have a connection. Use words such as however, moreover here also. Connect your points in your fluency. So you should not have those cliches, oh, and I mean, so don't have such fillers. Do not have long pauses, right? So we need to practice this. There should be fluency. Do not pause. Like in Hindi, we pause after every word when we say something. But in English, we pause after meaningful phrases, meaningful clauses. So you should know how to pause, where to pause. So there should be fluency. Lexical resource, vocabulary. Now, writing task is a formal piece of writing. You should use formal words over there. For example, if I have to use the word kids, kids I can use in speaking, but I should not use in writing. I can say, oh, I won't be able to do it in the future. So won't be, won't, contracted form can be used in speaking. It's a conversation. But in writing, you cannot write won't be. Then you'll have to write will not be able to. You should not use contracted forms in writing. Huh? That's a formal piece of writing. Use formal words over there. So in speaking, since it's not a, like, don't be casual also. Don't keep on saying, oh yeah, and all that. Don't be casual. Informal. It's a conversation style. So then you can use idioms also. You can use idioms. So what are idioms? Like in all languages, we have idioms. I was on cloud nine, was on the moon, right? Right. But in writing, you should not use idioms. That's a formal piece of writing. So in lexical resource, here points are given to you. If you use the correct collocations, the combination of words, you use idioms, you get points over here. And grammatical range and accuracy as it is in writing. Pronunciation. So pronunciation, we should understand what all is there in pronunciation. It's not that you should have an accent. Oh, no. It's not that you need to have a British accent or an American accent. No, the pronunciation should be correct. So pronunciation means your vowel sounds, your consonant sounds, then the stress within the words. English is a musical language. So like, it's not speaking, it's speaking. You know, where you put more stress. So a part of the word has more stress. So these are the nuances you need to understand. Otherwise, you lose points in pronunciation. So here again, 25% for each, you get a band score in each, and then the overall band score is calculated like 4, so divided by 4. No? That's how it is. So these are some frequently asked questions. Which is better, PBT, that's the paper-based test, or CBT, computer-based test? Well, it depends upon you. Are you good at typing? Go for computer-based test. If you're good at writing, your handwriting is also good. Like, it's legible. The others understand whatever you write, and you've got good speed, then go for paper-based test. So remember, paper-based test, practice writing with the pencil. Then can IELTS academic be taken from home? Like you asked another question, that one module, can you take a test in that? This was something that came in when we had coronavirus, but in India, we do not have it, right? We do not have it. You have to go to the test center. Can you take one module retest? We already discussed this, not in India yet. Now, does the difficulty level vary in different cities? I have seen students running to the remote areas, right? Or running from one city to another. They think, oh, last time I appeared to New Delhi, and this time let's go to maybe Ghaziabad, right? That's a comparatively small place. So let me go over there. No, it's not like that. You get the same questions everywhere, same level. So it's not that the difficulty level is different if it's a tier 2 or a tier 3 city. No, it's not like that. And what's the validity of IELTS result? 2 years. It's valid for 2 years. What are the rules for reevaluation? So reevaluation, suppose I feel you should not go for reevaluation of reading and listening. No, but in writing and speaking, subjective. 0.5 can be this side and that side. Examiner, human is there, right? It can be subjective also. So if you have to go for reevaluation, again, the fee is there for the whole, like it's as much as the fee of the complete exam. That's how it is. So reevaluation, you have to apply for it, you have to pay for it. That's how it is. Can the test be cancelled on medical grounds? Well, you'll have to show the doctor's slip over there, because they'll see that, but they'll not cancel it. They'll postpone it. So it can be postponed to a date later on. And when does the result come? So it's about 13 to 14 days for a pen and paper test. Paper-based PBT, it's 13 to 14 days. And for CBT, it's about 5 to 6 days. That's what it takes. How to register for IELTS? Students have this question also, and how often can you take it? How to register? First of all, remember, you should first of all find out by when you have to submit your IELTS result. Find out that, because your visa process starts only after that. You may finalize on the university, but the visa process and everything will start only after you submit your result. And when you are exam ready. How often can you take it? It depends upon the dates that are available. You can take it as often as you wish, but after the first one, wait for the result. Wait for the result, please. Maybe you might do well. So why to book for the next one immediately? Have your passport ready. This is the first mandate. Have your passport ready, please. So ensure that your passport is there, because this is needed when you have to register for the IELTS exam. And find out the band score requirement of that university or college, wherever you wish to go. That's again important. Some students make a mistake while selecting the test also. The last day when they go for the exam, then they realize, oh, I booked for academic. How come it's general training? I'm not for general training. So when you fill all the details, when you select a test, select very carefully, academic or general training, right? Cross-check all the details once, twice, thrice, maybe the fourth time also. Cross-check all the details before submitting, because it is not for free. It's quite expensive. The exam, like it's 16,250 now. So rupees, so in India, so it's quite expensive. So please be careful while looking for it. And of course, IELTS preparation at Yuno learning can prepare you. The 6-week course can prepare you, but we have a diagnostic test. We see what your level is, take you ahead, but what is needed? You should be regular. You should submit all your assignments, whichever assignments they may be. You should take all your one-to-one speaking practice sessions. You should even take all your doubt sessions and the mock tests. You are exam ready after that. Now I can see that there are some other questions also. So do you have any other questions? The ones maybe that I have not covered.
We can take this question. So Pooja is trying to ask us that her IELTS score will be valid till September 23. However, she's moving to Germany in October 23. Now she needs to understand whether she needs to give the test again to avoid the visa issues, or is it okay to not give the test again?
No, all the visa issues, because you need to find out. Because the university may again ask you for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So You'll have to reappear for it.
Yeah, it's suggested that she can reappear for it. However, this is again, this is very subjective to what her
You have to
overall
find out. You'll have to find
concept
out
is.
all the
Yeah,
details. Yes, it may vary.
exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, and then just to test my English level. Okay, so I had this thing in my mind. A lot of learners ask that, though they have received a good score, but
Mhm.
somehow they are not convinced. So I assume they can always reappear if they want to test, their knowledge or proficiency on English.
Again, prepare for it. If you do not want to prepare in that way, you can always go just for the mock tests.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the mock test, get your mock test analysis done. If you want to reappear, you are familiar with everything and you got a good score earlier also, take the mock tests.
And also, how
Or
soon
you
can?
can always,
Mhm.
another is you can always go for the crash course. It's
All
just for
right.
15 days, 2 weeks. Yeah.
All right, perfect. And another thing, just I want to ask you, how soon can they resit for the test? Let's say they did not receive the scores that they wanted. So how soon can they sit for another test?
Just find the availability of the tests and you can.
They
Why
can.
not?
So there is no restriction that they have to wait for a
No,
couple of
no.
weeks or something like that.
Oh
They can
no,
always reappear.
oh no,
And they
no.
can appear multiple times as well. There is no limit to that as well.
Yes, but wait for your result. I've seen students booking the next exam just one day after giving the previous one.
Mm-hmm.
They think, oh, I have not done well in my writing or in my
Yeah, they
speaking.
missed maybe
They,
some.
yes, they come home and they book it again. No, wait for the result, please. I would suggest that.
Yes, absolutely. They should wait for the scores, see where you went wrong, what
Exactly.
where the bands are lacking, prepare on that, and then go for the next attempt even more prepared.
Very right. Very right. Please.
All right, so what's the difference between academic and general? So yeah, if just Sunita, could you
Yes.
quickly
So
just cover this for?
academic, right? So you want to study abroad. You want to go abroad to study. Maybe you want to do your MS, right? You
Mm-hmm.
graduation, post graduation, whatever you wish to pursue. For that, you require the academic. But general training is if you're looking for PR, permanent residency over there, you go for general training one, the GT. That's what it is. There are some like who go for the nursing programs over there. So they need to find out from the university or college whether a general training is needed or academic is needed. But what I've seen is mostly it's the academic which is needed. Any study abroad means academic, right?
All right, so very well explained, Sunita. For this entire hour, we had very good insights about IELTS, about the process overall, what should be done, what should not be done, how to be motivated through the entire journey of this preparation, and how to tackle, let's say, if you are not succeeding in one go, what could be done. You have really shared some tips as well, keeping this thing in mind, that how the students mindset would be. Any last words that you want to tell to these aspirants who are preparing for IELTS examination?
Prepare thoroughly, analyze your mistakes, understand why those mistakes are made. So always analyze, understand the weaker areas, work on your weaker areas, take the mock test, the practice tests, they really help you. So the analysis of the practice test, the analysis of the mock tests helps you. And practice all types of questions. It's like rehearsal. If you have to perform somewhere on the stage, you need to rehearse properly. And then rehearse in the clothes that you're going to wear on the day of the program. I'm sure everybody has done it at school level, right? It's the same thing over here. Take the mock tests so that proper rehearsal is there for the exam.
Absolutely, that was a really great advice from your end, Sunita. Even I would suggest you guys the same. Practice more and more, prepare more and more, and definitely listening to these podcasts, reading the articles, books, This is really going to help you in a longer run. Be it if you're writing IELTS or not, if you just want to, enhance your proficiency in English as a language, how to use it effectively. These
That helps.
practices are really going to help you all.
And for your pronunciation, you can start working on your own, like Oxford, Advanced Learners Dictionary, Oxford Dictionary. You have everything online. So go to Oxford Dictionary every day, take about 10 to 20 words and practice their pronunciation. Understand where to put the stress. Understand the sounds. If you feel you face difficulty with any consonant sound, any vowel sound, understand how it can be pronounced, because understand the difference in the sounds of your native language and English.
Absolutely. So I hope with today's session, you got a fair understanding about the examination, and I hope today's session was helpful for all of you. And for those who are preparing, if you need any help, you have Yuno Learning as well in the journey to help you out thoroughly. And wish you all the very best for your preparation, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. I would really appreciate Sunita being a part of the panel and sharing her valuable inputs, giving us this time, especially again, you guys as well, giving us this time and sharing this information with us, asking your questions and letting us answer as well. Thank you so much for your time, Sunita, again.
Thank you,
As well
Surbi.
as the attendees.
Thank you very much for making me a part of it, and all the best